Come have a 5-minute grief talk with me. If you're new here, I am your grief and soul purpose coach, Tara Ricardo, and the host of the Life with Grief podcast. If you are in your first year of grief and you feel stuck or frozen, or like life is just happening around you while you are standing still, please hear this first. Nothing has gone wrong. That early grief is not necessarily a time for clarity or forward momentum. It is a time when your body and brain are trying to survive a shock. And the thoughts that show up right now are often survival thoughts, right? Not permanent truths. So let's reframe what stuck really means, especially in that early grief. In the first year, grief isn't just emotional, right? It's neurological, even beyond the first year, really. But your nervous system is learning a whole new reality, a whole new language, if you will, right? Someone is gone and the world is no longer predictable. It is no longer what it once was. So when we say we feel stuck, what we usually mean is my nervous system doesn't feel safe enough to move yet. That stuckness often lives in the thoughts that your mind keeps replaying. So let's dig into some of these thoughts really quick. Thought number one, if I move forward, it means I'm leaving them behind. In that early grief, in the first days, weeks, months, your bond with your person feels fragile, like it could disappear if you are not constantly tending to it. So your mind might say, don't move, don't change, don't risk losing them again. But that love doesn't dissolve just because you take a step forward. I see this all the time with my clients. There's so many grievers that struggle with this. But I always want to remind them, and I will remind you, that that connection doesn't require constant pain to stay alive. And I know that because I have been there. I have done this before myself. So a gentle reminder for you today is you are not keeping them close by staying stuck. You're keeping them close when you carry them with you. Thought number two. If I feel okay, even for a moment, something bad will happen. That other shoe, it's going to drop. This is such a common first-year grief thought, and it comes straight from trauma. Your nervous system remembers the moment before everything changed. So joy, relief, or even calm can feel unsafe, like it's kind of tempting fate a little bit. But letting yourself feel okay, even for just 5 minutes, doesn't mean you are letting your guard down forever. It just means that your body is taking a breath, and we have to let that happen. That is how we function day to day with grief. Thought number three, this pain is unbearable and it is never going to change. Spoiler alert, that is not true. That early grief has really no sense of time. Pain can feel endless because your brain can't yet imagine a future that doesn't hurt like this. But grief doesn't stay this sharp forever, right? It changes shape, it moves, it softens in places that we didn't think it could ever soften, not because you're forgetting, but because you're adapting. You're taking tiny little baby steps forward with your grief in tow. That is a natural part of this process. Thought number four, I should be handling this better by now. This thought usually sneaks in through comparison, seeing that someone else went back to work, someone else seems to be doing okay, someone else is functioning. But that early grief isn't about performance. It is about capacity. And some days, surviving the day, literally just getting out of bed, doing the most simple things, that is the work. And you are not behind. If that is all you can muster, you are grieving. You have to give that space and time. And here's something important to know in the first year, especially. You don't need to fix these thoughts. I see this all the time. I see grievers thinking there's something wrong with them, or maybe because of other external factors or other people's thoughts or opinions or feelings that they now think they're grieving wrong. But your job isn't to think more positively. It's not to silver line everything and just hope and pray it goes away. Your job is to recognize, okay, this is a grief thought. This is a survival thought. And when you name it, you can create just a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room for your grief to do what it needs to do. And that space, it doesn't necessarily mean relief yet, but it does mean that you are not trapped inside the thought. You can let it come in, recognize it, let it do its thing, and then release it. So if you feel stuck right now, it doesn't mean that this is always where you're going to be. Trust me, I have clients constantly coming to me and saying these things to me, and I will never see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I just don't see a way out of this or how I will not constantly be in this state. And I want you to know, if you are having those thoughts, that will evolve and change. And I know this because I have been there. I have had those thoughts too. What all of this means is that you are still learning to live in a world that changed without your consent, right? Because that is what loss does. That is the nature of life. But that movement will come, and it will come from safety, not from force before we're ready. So be gentle with yourself here, because that early grief, it's not about moving on. I never think it's about moving on. It's about moving forward. And that is what I do here. That is a big part of my work and a big part of this podcast. It is about navigating life with grief. And it is about being seen and held and supported as you do that. So thank you so much for joining me in this quick chat. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one.